The office of Sterling Enterprises was quiet, except for the soft hum of computers and the occasional clink of a keyboard. It was late in the evening, and most employees had already left for the day. The building, which buzzed with energy during the daytime, now felt calm and almost peaceful. William Hayes, the CEO of the company, sat alone in his large corner office on the top floor. He leaned back in his leather chair, staring at the stack of papers in front of him. His mind was racing with numbers, deadlines, and strategies. William wasn't planning to stay this late, but something about the stillness of the office helped him focus. The absence of ringing phones and hurried footsteps gave him space to think clearly. He sipped his cold coffee and sighed. Running a successful business wasn't easy, and sometimes it felt like the weight of the entire company rested on his shoulders. But tonight, something unusual caught his attention. From somewhere down the hallway, he heard faint voices. At first, he thought it might be security personnel making their rounds or perhaps an employee who had forgotten something and returned to retrieve it. But as he listened more closely, he realized the voices were coming from just outside his office door. One voice belonged to John Miller, the janitor who worked tirelessly to keep the office clean and presentable. The other voice, lighter and softer, sounded like that of a child. Curious, William stood up and walked quietly toward the door. He didn't want to interrupt whatever was happening, but he couldn't ignore the sound either. Peeking out, he saw John standing near the water cooler, talking animatedly with a young girl. She looked about 12 years old, with curly brown hair tied back in a ponytail and bright eyes that sparkled with curiosity. Her clothes were simple, jeans and a sweater, but there was something extraordinary about her. What truly surprised William, though, was not the sight of the girl, but the words she spoke. She wasn't speaking English, or at least, not all the time. As William listened, he heard her switch effortlessly between languages. First she said something in Spanish, then transitioned smoothly into French. Before long, she was speaking Mandarin, followed by German, Italian, Russian, Arabic, Japanese, and finally returning to English. Each language flowed naturally from her lips as if she had been born speaking them all. William's jaw dropped slightly. He had traveled extensively for work and knew how difficult it was to master even one foreign language, let alone 9. Yet here was this young girl, switching between tongues with ease and confidence. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. For a moment he wondered if he was imagining things, but the clarity of her speech left no room for doubt. Trying not to startle them, William stepped out of his office. "Good evening," he said warmly, approaching the pair. Both John and the girl turned to look at him, their expressions shifting from surprise to slight apprehension. John immediately straightened up, clutching the mop he held in his hands. "Mr. Hayes?" John stammered, clearly uncomfortable. "I'm sorry if we're disturbing you. This is my daughter, Lily. She came by after school. I hope it's okay." William waved off the apology with a reassuring smile. "No need to apologize, John. I was just curious about the conversation I overheard. Your daughter seems very talented." He turned his gaze to Lily, who looked both shy and intrigued. "That was impressive, Lily. How did you learn so many languages?" Lily hesitated for a moment before answering. She wasn't used to being the center of attention, especially from someone as important as the CEO of the company. But William's kind tone put her at ease. "Thank you," she said softly. "I've always liked learning new things, so I started teaching myself languages online. There are lots of free apps and videos that make it fun." William nodded, genuinely impressed. "And how long have you been doing this?" "About 3 years," Lily replied, her voice growing steadier. "I practice every day, and sometimes I watch movies or listen to music in different languages to get better." "That's incredible," William said, leaning against the wall. "Most adults struggle to learn even one new language, but you've mastered 9. Do you have a favorite?" Lily smiled, her shyness melting away as she talked about her passion. "I like Spanish because it's so musical, and I love how expressive Italian sounds. But I think Mandarin is really cool too. It's so different from English." John watched the exchange with a mix of pride and nervousness. He hadn't expected this encounter when he brought Lily to the office today. Usually she waited in the break room while he finished cleaning, but tonight she had joined him in the hallway to share her latest progress in learning Arabic. Now seeing her interact with the CEO, he felt a strange mix of emotions, pride for his daughter's achievements and worry about whether they were crossing any boundaries. William noticed John's unease and quickly reassured him. "You should be proud of your daughter, John. Talent like hers doesn't come along every day. And don't worry, you're not breaking any rules by having her here. In fact, I'm glad I got the chance to meet her." John relaxed slightly, though he still felt out of place. "Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Lily works hard and she loves learning. I try to support her however I can." "I can see that," William said, nodding approvingly. Then turning back to Lily, he added, "Keep following your dreams, Lily. People who are passionate about learning change the world." As William excused himself and returned to his office, he couldn't stop thinking about what he had just witnessed. A janitor's daughter, speaking 9 languages fluently, all self-taught. It was remarkable, and it made him reflect on the untapped potential that existed within the company and beyond. Too often people judged others based on appearances or job titles, missing the brilliance that lay beneath the surface. Little did William know, this brief encounter would set into motion a series of events that would transform not only Lily's life but also the culture of Sterling Enterprises. For now, though, he simply smiled to himself, feeling inspired by the unexpected discovery he had made on an otherwise ordinary evening. The next morning, the office buzzed with activity as employees filed in, ready to tackle another day of work. Conversations filled the air, some about weekend plans, others about upcoming projects or client meetings. But amidst the usual chatter, there was a new topic on everyone's lips: the story of Lily, the janitor's daughter who spoke 9 languages. Word had spread quickly after William overheard her the previous evening. Employees passing by the hallway had caught glimpses of the interaction between the CEO and John Miller, along with his young daughter. Some even claimed they heard snippets of Lily switching between languages like a seasoned diplomat. By the time the coffee machines were fired up and desks organized, nearly everyone in the office knew at least part of the story. At first, many dismissed it as office gossip, a tale exaggerated for entertainment. After all, how could a 12-year-old girl know so many languages? It sounded almost too incredible to believe. But those who had been present during the encounter confirmed that it was true. They described William's reaction, his surprise, curiosity, and genuine admiration, and how he had spoken to Lily with respect and warmth. For a man known for his serious demeanor and strict focus on business, this behavior was highly unusual. As the hours passed, speculation grew. What would William do next? Would he simply forget about the incident, or would he take some kind of action? No one could predict what might happen, but everyone agreed that something felt different this time. There was an unspoken sense that this wasn't just another random event, it carried meaning, though no one was sure what that meaning was yet. Later that afternoon, William called an impromptu meeting in the main conference room. Normally, such gatherings were reserved for discussing quarterly earnings, strategic partnerships, or major company announcements. This time, however, the agenda was unclear. As employees filed into the room, murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some wondered if layoffs were coming. Others speculated about a merger or acquisition. Few expected what actually unfolded. Once everyone was seated, William stood at the front of the room, his tall frame commanding attention. He began by thanking everyone for their hard work and dedication, then paused briefly before launching into a topic no one saw coming. "Yesterday evening," he started, "I had an experience that reminded me why we're here. Not just as a company, but as individuals striving to make a difference." He went on to recount the story of meeting John Miller and his daughter, Lily. He described how he'd overheard her speaking multiple languages and explained how impressed he was by her talent and passion for learning. His voice softened as he spoke about her dream of becoming a translator or diplomat someday. "Lily is proof that talent can be found in unexpected places," he said, "and it's our responsibility to recognize and nurture that talent regardless of where it comes from." The room fell silent. Employees exchanged glances, unsure of what to think. Was this really happening? Their usually stern and business-focused CEO was talking about a janitor's daughter as if she were a rising star. It was surreal, but William wasn't finished. With a calm confidence, he announced his decision. Sterling Enterprises would create a special internship program designed to support young talents like Lily. The program would provide hands-on experience, mentorship, and opportunities to grow professionally. And Lily, he declared, would be its first participant. Gasps echoed throughout the room. Some people sat frozen in disbelief, while others leaned forward, eager to hear more. A few whispered among themselves, questioning whether this was a wise move. Could a 12-year-old really contribute meaningfully to a corporate environment? Wouldn't it be disruptive to have a child working alongside seasoned professionals? Despite the skepticism, William pressed on. He emphasized that innovation often came from thinking outside the box and challenging traditional norms. We talk a lot about diversity and inclusion, he said, but true inclusion means giving everyone a chance to shine, no matter their background or age. Lily has shown us what's possible when someone pursues their passion with determination. Let's give her the tools she needs to succeed. When the meeting ended, the room erupted into conversation. Some employees were inspired by William's vision, praising him for taking such a bold step. Others remained skeptical, worried about the practicalities of integrating a child into the workplace. Still, there was no denying that the announcement had left a lasting impression on everyone. Meanwhile, John and Lily were unaware of the storm brewing around them. That morning, John had dropped Lily off at school before heading to work. As he pushed his cleaning cart down the hallways, he couldn't shake the feeling that something big was about to happen. He replayed the events of the previous evening, in his mind, the way William had spoken to Lily, the interest he had shown in her abilities. It felt surreal, almost like a dream. During lunch break, John received a call from William himself. At first, he thought it was a mistake. Why would the CEO personally reach out to him? But when he answered, William greeted him warmly and asked if they could meet later that afternoon. Nervously, John agreed. After finishing his shift, John met William in his office. To his surprise, Lily was already there, sitting across from the CEO. Her eyes lit up when she saw her father walk in. "Dad!" she exclaimed, jumping up to hug him. "Mr. Hayes told me about the internship program." John looked at William, confusion written all over his face. "Internship program," he repeated, his voice trembling slightly. William nodded and explained everything. The decision to launch the program, Lily's role as its first participant, and the opportunities it would offer her. "This isn't charity," he clarified. "Lily has skills that are valuable to our international relations team. She'll work closely with them, helping translate documents, assist in communications, and even participate in meetings when appropriate." John struggled to process the information. On one hand, he was overwhelmed with gratitude for the opportunity being offered to his daughter. On the other hand, he couldn't help but feel uneasy. What if Lily didn't fit in? What if the other employees resented her presence? He voiced his concerns hesitantly, afraid of offending the CEO. To his relief, William listened patiently and addressed each concern. "I understand your worries, John," he said. "Change can be uncomfortable, especially when it challenges the status quo. But I truly believe this is the right thing to do. For Lily, for the company, and for all of us, we'll make sure she has the support she needs to succeed." Feeling reassured, John finally agreed. He thanked William profusely, tears welling up in his eyes. For years, he had worked tirelessly to provide for his family, often feeling invisible in the grand scheme of things. Now his daughter was being recognized for her extraordinary abilities, and it filled him with pride. As they left the office together, Lily couldn't contain her excitement. "Can you believe this, Dad?" she asked, skipping beside him. "I'm going to work with the international team. Maybe I'll even get to travel someday." John smiled, ruffling her hair affectionately. "You've earned it, kiddo. Just promise me you'll keep working hard and stay humble." "I will, Dad," Lily promised, her eyes shining with determination. Back at the office, news of William's decision continued to ripple through the halls. While some employees remained skeptical, others began to see the potential benefits of having someone like Lily on board. Emma Taylor, a junior executive who specialized in global communications, was particularly intrigued. She volunteered to mentor Lily, seeing it as a chance to guide a promising young talent while also learning from her unique perspective. By the end of the day, the atmosphere in the office had shifted subtly. People started looking at John and Lily differently, not just as a janitor and his daughter, but as individuals with untapped potential. The idea that talent could come from anywhere, regardless of job title or background, began to take root in their minds. For William, the decision to create the internship program wasn't just about helping Lily, it was about setting an example. He wanted to show his employees that success wasn't defined by hierarchy or privilege, but by passion, hard work, and the courage to embrace change. And as he watched the ripple effects of his choice unfold, he knew he had made the right call. Little did anyone realize, this was only the beginning of a journey that would transform not only Lily's life, but also the entire culture of Sterling Enterprises. The first day of Lily's internship at Sterling Enterprises arrived, and the office buzzed with anticipation. Employees whispered among themselves, curious to see how a 12-year-old would fit into their professional environment. Some were excited to meet her, while others remained skeptical, wondering if this experiment would work. Despite the mixed reactions, there was an undeniable sense of curiosity in the air. Lily arrived early that morning, clutching a small backpack filled with notebooks and pens. Her father, John, walked her to the lobby before heading off to start his cleaning duties. He gave her a quick hug and reminded her to stay confident. "You've got this, Lily," he said with a reassuring smile. She nodded, though her hands trembled slightly as she stepped into the elevator. When the doors opened on the executive floor, Emma Taylor, the junior executive who had volunteered to mentor Lily, was waiting for her. Emma greeted her warmly, introducing herself and explaining the plan for the day. "We'll start by meeting the international relations team," Emma said. "They're excited to have you join them. Don't worry, they're really nice people." Lily followed Emma down the hallway, taking in the sleek design of the office. Everything felt so polished and professional, a stark contrast to the classrooms and hallways she was used to. As they entered the conference room, several team members looked up from their laptops and smiled. Introductions were made quickly, and Lily found herself seated at the table alongside seasoned professionals. Her first task was simple but important, reviewing a document written in French and suggesting edits to improve its clarity. The team explained that the document would be sent to a client in Paris and accuracy was crucial. At first, Lily hesitated, feeling overwhelmed by the responsibility. But as she read through the text, her confidence grew. She noticed a few awkward phrases and suggested alternative wording, impressing everyone with her keen eye for detail. Word of her performance spread quickly. By lunchtime, even those who had doubted her abilities began to see her potential. One colleague remarked, "She's not just fluent, she understands nuance. That's rare even for adults." Another added, "If she keeps this up, she'll be running meetings before we know it." But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Later that afternoon, Lily attended her first team meeting. The discussion focused on negotiating terms with a Japanese partner company. While she listened intently, trying to follow along, she realized how complex corporate conversations could be. Terms like profit margins and contractual obligations flew back and forth, leaving her momentarily lost. When someone asked for her input near the end of the meeting, she froze, unsure of what to say. Emma noticed her discomfort and quickly stepped in. "Lily's still getting familiar with these concepts," she explained, "but I'm sure she'll have plenty to contribute once she's more comfortable." After the meeting, Emma sat down with Lily to review what had been discussed, breaking down the jargon into simpler terms. "Don't worry about making mistakes," Emma told her. "Everyone here is learning too. You're doing great." Despite the challenges, Lily's presence brought a fresh energy to the office. Her enthusiasm was contagious, and her questions often sparked interesting discussions. For example, during a brainstorming session about expanding into new markets, she asked why the company hadn't considered targeting younger audiences. Kids my age use apps and games to learn languages, she pointed out. Maybe you could create something similar for businesses. Her comment caught the attention of several team members who began exploring the idea further. It was a reminder that sometimes the simplest observations could lead to innovative solutions. As the days turned into weeks, Lily settled into her role. She worked closely with Emma, who became both a mentor and a friend. Together, they tackled projects ranging from translating emails to preparing presentations for international clients. Emma taught Lily practical skills like how to format documents professionally and how to communicate effectively in a workplace setting. In return, Lily shared insights about cultural nuances that only someone deeply immersed in language learning could provide. Not everyone was supportive, however. A few colleagues grumbled about the disruption caused by having a child in the office. One senior executive, Richard Dawson, openly criticized William's decision during a private meeting. "This isn't a daycare center," he argued. "We're risking our reputation by letting a kid handle sensitive materials." William listened patiently but stood firm in his decision. "Lily isn't just a kid," he replied. "She's demonstrated skills that are valuable to this company. If you have concerns, address them constructively, but don't dismiss her contributions based on age alone." Richard reluctantly backed down, though he continued to keep a close eye on Lily's progress. To his surprise, he soon found himself impressed by her dedication and professionalism. During one particularly tense negotiation with a Russian client, Lily's ability to clarify misunderstandings in real time proved invaluable. Even Richard had to admit that she was making a difference. For John, watching his daughter thrive in such an environment was both heartwarming and humbling. He often peeked into the offices where Lily worked, marveling at how confidently she interacted with executives twice her age. Other employees began treating him differently too. Instead of ignoring him or giving him curt nods, they greeted him warmly and asked about Lily's latest projects. It was a subtle shift, but one that meant the world to him. Still, balancing schoolwork and the demands of the internship wasn't easy for Lily. There were nights when she stayed up late finishing assignments, her eyes heavy with fatigue. Sometimes she wondered if she was biting off more than she could chew. But every time doubt crept in, Emma encouraged her to take breaks and prioritize self-care. "You're human, Lily," Emma reminded her. "It's okay to ask for help when you need it." One evening, after a particularly long day at the office, Lily confided in her father about her struggles. "I love working here, Dad," she said, "but I feel like I'm falling behind in school. What if I can't keep up?" John hugged her tightly, his voice steady and comforting. "You're stronger than you think, Lily. You've already accomplished so much. If things get too hard, we'll figure it out together. Just remember why you started this journey. To chase your dreams." Those words stayed with Lily, fueling her determination to push through the challenges. Slowly but surely, she learned to manage her time better, setting aside specific hours for homework and carving out moments to relax. She also leaned on Emma and the rest of the team for support, realizing that asking for help wasn't a sign of weakness, but a way to grow stronger. By the end of her first month, Lily had become an integral part of the international relations team. She helped draft contracts, translated key documents, and even assisted in preparing materials for a major presentation to European partners. Her contributions weren't just appreciated, they were celebrated. During a team dinner held to mark the successful completion of the project, William stood up to speak. Holding up his glass, he said, "Let's raise a toast, not just to our achievements, but to the person who inspired us all to think bigger and aim higher. Lily, thank you for reminding us that talent knows no boundaries." The room erupted in applause, and Lily blushed, overwhelmed by the praise. For the first time, she truly believed that she belonged in this world of suits and boardrooms. And as she looked around the table at the smiling faces of her colleagues, she realized something else. She wasn't just learning from them, they were learning from her too. Little did anyone know, this was only the beginning of Lily's journey. Her presence had already begun to reshape the culture of Sterling Enterprises, proving that innovation and inclusion went hand in hand. But the road ahead wouldn't be without obstacles, and overcoming them would require courage, resilience, and the unwavering support of those who believed in her. As the weeks turned into months, Lily's role at Sterling Enterprises continued to evolve. What had started as a simple internship quickly became something much bigger, a test of her abilities, her resilience, and her capacity to adapt to a world far beyond her years. The challenges she faced were numerous, but so were the opportunities for growth. Each day brought new lessons, both professional and personal, shaping her into someone even she didn't fully recognize yet. One of the biggest hurdles Lily encountered was balancing her schoolwork with her responsibilities at the office. Teachers noticed that her grades had slipped slightly, not because she lacked understanding, but because she was stretched thin. Homework assignments piled up, and tests loomed on the horizon, leaving her feeling overwhelmed at times. She often stayed up late, trying to finish essays or study for exams after a full day of work. It was exhausting, and there were moments when she questioned whether she could keep going. Emma Taylor saw the toll it was taking on Lily and decided to step in. One afternoon, after noticing dark circles under Lily's eyes, Emma pulled her aside. "Lily," she said gently, "you're doing an amazing job here, but I can see you're struggling. We need to find a way to make this easier for you." Lily hesitated before nodding. "I just don't want to let anyone down," she admitted quietly. "I feel like if I slow down, people will think I'm not cut out for this." Emma shook her head firmly. "No one expects you to be perfect, Lily. You're 12 years old. You're allowed to have limits. Let's talk to your teachers and see if we can adjust some deadlines, and maybe we can reduce your hours here temporarily until things settle down." With Emma's help, Lily reached out to her teachers, explaining her situation honestly. To her relief, they were supportive, offering extensions on assignments and suggesting ways to manage her workload more effectively. At the office, William agreed to scale back her responsibilities for a short period, allowing her to focus on catching up in school. These adjustments made a world of difference, giving Lily the breathing room she needed to regain her footing. But it wasn't just academic pressures that tested Lily. It was also the skepticism of certain colleagues. While many had warmed up to her presence, a few remained resistant to the idea of a child working alongside them. Richard Dawson, the senior executive who had initially opposed the internship program, still kept a watchful eye on her. Though he had softened his stance somewhat, he occasionally made comments that undermined her confidence. During one meeting, for instance, Richard questioned whether Lily's input on a marketing strategy was truly necessary. "Are we sure this is the best use of her time?" he asked pointedly. "She's here to learn, not to lead." Lily felt her cheeks flush with embarrassment, but before she could respond, Emma stepped in. "Lily's perspective is valuable precisely because it's different from ours," Emma countered calmly. "Her ideas have already led to meaningful improvements in our approach. If you have concerns, let's address them constructively instead of dismissing her outright." Richard muttered something under his breath but didn't press the issue further. Still, the incident left Lily shaken. That evening, as she walked home with her father, she voiced her frustrations. "Why does he always act like I don't belong here?" she asked, tears welling up in her eyes. "I'm trying my best, but it feels like no matter what I do, some people won't accept me." John stopped walking and knelt down to look her in the eye. "There will always be people who doubt you, Lily," he said softly, "but their opinions don't define you. What matters is how you carry yourself and the work you put in. Keep proving them wrong, not for them, but for yourself." His words resonated deeply with Lily, reminding her why she had taken on this challenge in the first place. Over the next few days, she resolved to push past the negativity and focus on the positive impact she was making. She threw herself into her projects with renewed determination, determined to show that she deserved to be there, and prove herself she did. A major breakthrough came during negotiations with a European client over a high-stakes partnership deal. The discussions had hit a snag due to misunderstandings about contract terms, which were written in both English and French. Misinterpretations threatened to derail the entire agreement, and tensions ran high. William called an emergency meeting to address the issue. As the team debated potential solutions, Lily raised her hand timidly. When everyone turned to look at her, she took a deep breath and spoke. "I think I can help clarify the confusion," she said. The French version uses a phrase that has a slightly different meaning than the English translation suggests. If we reword it, it might clear things up. The room fell silent as Lily explained her reasoning, pointing out specific phrases and offering alternative wording. Her explanation was concise, accurate, and exactly what the team needed to move forward. With her guidance, they revised the document and presented it to the client, who accepted the changes without hesitation. The deal was saved, thanks largely to Lily's intervention. Afterward, even Richard had to acknowledge her contribution. "Well done, Lily," he said grudgingly, though his tone carried a hint of respect. "You played a key role in resolving that situation." The victory boosted Lily's confidence immensely. For the first time, she realized that her age didn't diminish her value. In fact, it gave her a unique advantage. Her fresh perspective and linguistic expertise complemented the skills of her older colleagues, creating a synergy that benefited everyone involved. As word of her success spread, attitudes toward her began to shift. Colleagues who had once dismissed her as a novelty now sought her advice on language-related matters. Some even invited her to join brainstorming sessions, eager to hear her insights. Slowly but surely, Lily earned their trust and respect, proving that she was more than capable of holding her own in a professional setting. Her growing confidence also inspired others in unexpected ways. Employees who had previously felt stuck in their roles began to reconsider their own potential. Seeing a 12-year-old excel in such a demanding environment encouraged them to take risks and pursue new opportunities. Conversations around the office shifted from gossip and complaints to discussions about innovation and collaboration. Even John noticed a change in the way his co-workers treated him. They no longer saw him merely as the janitor, but as the father of a remarkable young talent. Many expressed admiration for how he had supported Lily's ambitions, crediting him with fostering her love of learning. For the first time in years, John felt seen and valued, not just for the work he did, but for who he was as a person. Despite these successes, Lily knew she couldn't rely solely on her language skills to succeed. She worked hard to expand her knowledge of business practices, reading books and articles recommended by Emma and other mentors. She attended workshops and seminars, soaking up information like a sponge. Every new concept she learned added another layer to her understanding of the corporate world, helping her bridge the gap between her youthful curiosity and the complexities of professional life. By the end of her 6th month at Sterling Enterprises, Lily had become an indispensable member of the international relations team. Her name appeared in emails, reports, and presentations, earning recognition not just within the company but also among clients and partners. People marveled at her ability to juggle multiple languages, tasks, and responsibilities with grace and poise. One day, William called her into his office for a private meeting. Sitting behind his desk, he smiled warmly as she entered. "Lily, I wanted to take a moment to thank you," he said. "Your contributions have exceeded all expectations. You've shown us that talent and dedication know no boundaries, and you've inspired everyone here to think differently about what's possible." Lily blushed, unsure of how to respond. "Thank you, Mr. Hayes," she managed to say. "This experience has meant so much to me. I've learned so much from everyone here." William nodded. "We've learned just as much from you, if not more. You've reminded us that innovation often comes from the most unexpected places. And you've proven that inclusion isn't just a buzzword, it's a mindset that drives real change." He paused, then added, "I hope you'll continue to grow and explore your passions both here and beyond. Whatever path you choose, I have no doubt you'll achieve great things." As Lily left the office that evening, she felt a sense of pride and accomplishment unlike anything she'd ever experienced. She had faced challenges, doubts, and obstacles, but she had overcome them all, emerging stronger and wiser. More importantly, she had made a lasting impact on those around her, proving that even the smallest voice could spark big changes. Little did she know her journey was far from over. The ripple effects of her presence at Sterling Enterprises would continue to shape the company and the lives of its employees for years to come. But for now, she allowed herself a moment to reflect on how far she had come and dream about where she might go next. By the time Lily's internship at Sterling Enterprises reached its one-year mark, the changes she had brought to the company were undeniable. What had started as a bold experiment by William Hayes had grown into something much bigger, a transformation that touched every corner of the organization. The culture of the office was different now, more inclusive and open-minded. Employees who once dismissed unconventional ideas found themselves embracing creativity and innovation. And at the heart of it all was Lily, the 12-year-old girl, who had walked into the office speaking 9 languages and left an indelible mark on everyone she met. One of the most significant outcomes of Lily's presence was the expansion of the internship program William had created. Inspired by her success, the company decided to extend opportunities to other young talents from underprivileged backgrounds. The program wasn't limited to language skills. Candidates could showcase any unique ability or passion they had, whether it was coding, art, music, or problem-solving. Each participant was paired with a mentor and given real-world experience tailored to their interests and strengths. The impact was immediate and profound. A teenager named Jake, who excelled at graphic design, joined the marketing team and helped revamp the company's branding. Another intern, Maria, used her knack for storytelling to create compelling content for social media campaigns. Like Lily, these young individuals brought fresh perspectives that challenged traditional ways of thinking and sparked new ideas. Over time, the program became a cornerstone of Sterling Enterprises' commitment to diversity and inclusion. For Lily, the internship remained a defining chapter in her life. She continued to work closely with the international relations team, contributing to major projects and helping secure deals that benefited the company. Her confidence soared as she tackled increasingly complex tasks, from drafting legal documents to leading small meetings with clients. Though she still faced occasional doubts from skeptics, she no longer let them shake her resolve. Instead, she focused on proving herself through her actions, earning respect one project at a time. Her achievements didn't go unnoticed outside the company either. Local newspapers picked up the story of the language prodigy who had transformed a corporate giant. Articles highlighted her journey, praising William's visionary leadership and emphasizing the importance of giving young people a chance to shine. Lily even appeared on a morning talk show where she shared her experiences and encouraged viewers to pursue their passions fearlessly. Watching her speak with poise and wisdom beyond her years, audiences were captivated by her story. But perhaps the most meaningful recognition came during a special ceremony held at Sterling Enterprises to celebrate the first anniversary of the internship program. Employees gathered in the main conference room decorated with balloons and banners as William took the stage to deliver a speech. He began by thanking everyone for their hard work and dedication, then turned his attention to Lily. "Lily," he said, his voice filled with emotion, "you've taught us so much about resilience, determination, and the power of believing in oneself. You've shown us that talent can be found anywhere, and that it's our responsibility to nurture it. Because of you, this company is stronger, smarter, and more united than ever before." As applause erupted throughout the room, Lily stood up, tears glistening in her eyes. She walked to the front, where William handed her a plaque engraved with the words, "Trailblazer and Inspiration." For a moment, she simply looked out at the sea of smiling faces, overwhelmed by gratitude. Then, taking a deep breath, she began to speak. "I never imagined I'd be standing here today," she said, her voice steady despite the lump in her throat. "When I first came to this office, I was just a kid who loved learning languages. I didn't think anyone would take me seriously, but Mr. Hayes believed in me, and so did Emma, my dad, and everyone else who supported me along the way. They reminded me that it's okay to dream big, even if those dreams seem impossible. She paused, glancing around the room. This past year has been amazing. Not because of what I've done, but because of how it's changed all of us. We've learned that when we open our doors to new ideas and new people, incredible things happen. So thank you for letting me be part of your world. I'll never forget it. The room erupted in cheers and several employees wiped away tears. It was clear that Lily's words had resonated deeply with everyone present. Even Richard Dawson, who had once been her harshest critic, clapped enthusiastically, a proud smile spreading across his face. In the months that followed, Lily gradually transitioned out of her role at Sterling Enterprises to focus on her education. Though she no longer worked full-time at the office, she stayed connected to the company as an honorary advisor, offering insights whenever needed. Her relationship with Emma remained strong, and the two often met for coffee to discuss career, goals, and future plans. Emma continued to serve as a mentor, guiding Lily as she navigated the challenges of adolescence and prepared for college. For John, seeing his daughter thrive was a source of immense pride. He noticed subtle changes in himself, too. The confidence Lily gained rubbed off on him, encouraging him to pursue his own dreams. With William's support, he enrolled in night classes to earn a degree in business management. His co-workers cheered him on, inspired by his determination to grow and improve. By the end of the year, John had earned a promotion, moving from janitorial duties to a supervisory role overseeing maintenance operations. William, too, experienced a personal shift. Creating the internship program and witnessing its success reignited his passion for leadership. He realized that running a successful business wasn't just about profits and strategies. It was about making a difference in people's lives. Under his guidance, Sterling Enterprises launched several community outreach initiatives, including scholarships for low-income students and partnerships with local schools to promote STEM education. The company's reputation soared, attracting top talent and loyal customers alike. Years later, as Lily grew into adulthood, she reflected on her time at Sterling Enterprises with fondness and gratitude. She went on to study international relations at a prestigious university, eventually fulfilling her dream of becoming a diplomat. Her fluency in multiple languages and her ability to connect with people from diverse backgrounds made her a natural leader in her field. Whenever she faced challenges, she remembered the lessons she had learned during her internship: perseverance, adaptability, and the importance of believing in oneself. Back at Sterling Enterprises, the legacy of Lily's internship lived on. The program she had inspired continued to thrive, providing opportunities for countless young talents to shine. Employees spoke of her often, sharing stories of her wit, curiosity, and unwavering determination. New hires learned about her contributions during orientation sessions, ensuring that her impact would never be forgotten. William retired several years later, leaving behind a company that was unrecognizable from the one he had inherited. It was more innovative, inclusive, and compassionate, a true reflection of the values he had championed throughout his career. During his farewell speech, he credited Lily with sparking the change that defined his tenure as CEO. She reminded me that greatness isn't measured by titles or achievements, he said. It's measured by the lives we touch and the doors we open for others. As the years passed, Lily occasionally returned to visit the office, now bustling with interns and mentors working side by side. Walking through the halls, she marveled at how far the company and she herself had come since that fateful evening when William overheard her speaking 9 languages. What had begun as a simple conversation between a janitor's daughter and a CEO had blossomed into a movement that changed lives, shattered stereotypes, and proved that talent truly knows no boundaries. And though the details of her journey faded, with time, the spirit of her story endured, a testament to the power of opportunity, belief, and the courage to embrace the unexpected.